20 essential foods you can stock that never expire. Sounds impossible, right? But if tomorrow you couldn't buy anything else, how long would you last? 3 days? Or not even a week? The truth is, most people only have enough food at home for about 72 hours. And when everything is disrupted, money is not what saves you first. What you already have is what determines your survival. In this video, you'll see 20 foods that can last for years, even decades if stored properly. But more importantly, each one solves a different problem when things start to go wrong. And toward the end of the list, you'll come across something very small. It won't fill you up, but it can keep you from collapsing. That's item number 7. Now, let's go straight to the first one. 20. White rice. If one day everything around you disappears, supermarkets close and fresh food is gone, the simplest thing may be what keeps you alive the longest. That is white rice. It sounds ordinary, but in reality, if stored properly, white rice can maintain its quality for 20 to 30 years without significant spoilage. The reason is very simple. During milling, the bran layer and natural oils on the outside of the grain are removed. This oil layer is what causes food to go rancid over time. Once it is gone, rice has almost no natural spoilage mechanism if kept under proper conditions. In a survival situation, you do not need tasty meals. You need energy to sustain your body. And white rice is a stable source of carbohydrates, easy to digest and suitable for long-term use. You can cook rice, make porridge, or combine it with beans and canned food to create a complete meal. Even when fuel is limited, you can soak the rice beforehand to shorten cooking time and save energy. But there is one thing many people overlook. Rice does not spoil because of time. It spoils because of how you store it. Moisture, air, and insects are the real factors that destroy this food. So if you want long-term storage, keep rice in a dry place, sealed from air, and at a low temperature. Ideally, use vacuum-sealed bags or containers with oxygen absorbers. When done right, rice is not just food. It is a form of survival insurance for unexpected situations. 19. Dry noodles. If white rice is what helps you survive for months, dry noodles are what help you get through the first few days when everything starts to fall apart. This is not a food for long-term storage, but something to use immediately when you need a quick, simple meal with minimal preparation. The shelf life of dry noodles is usually around 1 to 2 years, depending on the type. However, the biggest difference compared to rice is that noodles contain oil, and that oil will gradually oxidize over time. That means noodles are not as durable as you might think. They have limits, and you need to understand that if you want to use them effectively. The real value of noodles is not in nutrition, but in speed and convenience. When you don't have time, don't have enough energy to cook, or simply don't want to think too much, a pack of noodles can solve that immediately. In stressful situations, having something familiar and easy can be more important than having a perfectly balanced meal. You can cook noodles with hot water, or in an emergency, eat them dry without preparation. They are also easy to combine with other foods to increase nutritional value if you have them available. In terms of storage, noodles don't require anything complicated, but they must be kept away from heat and air, the two factors that cause the oil inside to spoil faster. Keep them in sealed packaging in a dry place, and most importantly, don't store them and forget about them. Noodles are something you should rotate regularly, not keep for many years. 18. Canned vegetables. You don't die from hunger first. You die from dehydration first. It may sound hard to believe, but in many emergency situations, water disappears faster than food. And that is exactly why canned vegetables are not just food. They are also a hidden reserve that many people overlook. Canned vegetables typically have a shelf life of 3 to 5 years. But in reality, if the can remains intact, no bulging, no leaks, no rust, they can last even longer and still be safe to use. What's important to understand is that the expiration date printed on the package is about quality, not a strict line between edible and not edible. The value of canned vegetables is not in high calories, but in the vitamins, minerals, and the liquid inside. In situations where you don't have enough clean water, the liquid in the can can temporarily support your body, something dry foods like rice or noodles cannot provide. The way to use them requires almost no thought. You simply open the can and eat. No cooking, no added water, no preparation. You can also combine canned vegetables with other foods to balance nutrition and avoid relying only on carbohydrates for long periods. Store the cans in a cool, dry place and avoid high temperatures. Heat can reduce the quality inside, while humidity can cause the exterior to rust. Before using, always check the condition of the can. If there are any signs of damage, don't take the risk. And sometimes, what keeps you stable for a few days is not the thing with the most energy, but the thing that keeps your body from breaking down before you find a solution. 17. Honey. There are things that don't need refrigeration, don't need special packaging, yet still last longer than most other foods. Honey is one of the very few foods like that, not because it is specially processed, but because its natural properties resist bacteria. Its extremely low moisture content, combined with antibacterial characteristics, creates an environment that is almost impossible to break down in the usual way. In terms of longevity, honey has almost no clear expiration limit. It may crystallize over time, but that is not a sign of spoilage. With gentle warming, it returns to its original state and remains perfectly usable. What makes it worth storing is not just its quick energy, but its flexibility in many situations. You can use it directly, mix it with water, or combine it with other foods to improve flavor when meals become repetitive. You don't need any complicated preparation to use it. Just open the lid and it's ready. A major advantage when you have limited options. To store it long-term, simply keep honey in a sealed container, away from moisture and high temperatures. No refrigeration, no special equipment needed. And when everything around you has limits, there is one thing that is almost unaffected by time. If you could only choose 3 foods for long-term storage, would you include honey on your list? 16. Salt. You can go without food for days, but without this, your body will collapse faster than you think. Not meat, not rice. Salt. When you lose fluids, feel fatigued, or start cramping, it's not just a sign of low energy. It's a sign your body is out of balance. And salt is what helps retain water, allowing your muscles and nerves to keep functioning. In harsh conditions, a lack of salt doesn't make you hungry. It makes you exhausted. One key point: salt almost never spoils over time. No bacteria, no decomposition, no special conditions required. You can store it for years without worrying about it losing effectiveness. But the real value of salt is not just in eating it. It is also a preservation tool. For hundreds of years, people have used salt to keep meat and fish from spoiling. In a shortage situation, a small amount of salt can help extend the life of other foods. You don't need any complex preparation to use it. Just a small amount each day is enough to help your body maintain stability, especially when you are sweating or dehydrated. To keep salt usable, store it in a dry place and avoid moisture. Water won't spoil salt, but it will cause clumping and make it harder to use. And in many cases, It's not the lack of food that makes you collapse first. It's the lack of something you once thought didn't matter. If you had to survive for 7 days, are you sure you've prepared enough salt? 15. Sugar. This isn't just for sweetness. It can determine how long some of your foods last. Sugar is often seen as unnecessary, but in reality, it is one of those ingredients that plays a quiet yet extremely useful role in long-term storage. Not because it tastes good, but because of how it interacts with its environment. Sugar can last for many years without spoiling, as long as you keep it away from moisture. Unlike many other foods, sugar does not support bacterial growth when it is dry, and that is why it remains stable over time. What makes sugar valuable is not just its ability to provide quick energy, it also acts as a natural preservative. When combined with fruits or certain other foods, sugar can help extend shelf life without the need for complex equipment. That's why jams, syrups, and many traditional foods can last so long. You can use sugar in different ways. Eat it directly when you need quick energy. Mix it into water to add calories. Or use it in preparation to improve flavor when meals become repetitive. During long periods of scarcity, a bit of sweetness can bring more comfort than you might expect. To keep sugar stable, store it in a sealed container, away from moisture and air. If it absorbs moisture, it may clump and become harder to use, but it does not mean it has spoiled. And sometimes, what you think is a luxury is actually what helps you extend everything else. If you could only choose one item to both eat and preserve other foods, would you think of sugar? 14. White vinegar. When you can't buy anything else, what matters isn't how much you have, but how many things one item can do. White vinegar is one of the very few things like that. It doesn't provide much energy, but it solves multiple problems at once. When you don't have cleaning products, vinegar can be used to clean surfaces, remove odors, and even rinse food. In limited conditions, keeping your environment clean can be just as important as having enough food. In terms of longevity, white vinegar almost never spoils if stored properly. Its natural acidity prevents bacterial growth without the need for preservatives. That makes it one of the few liquids that can remain stable for a very long time. You can use vinegar in many ways. A small amount can completely change the taste of a meal, making it less monotonous. When diluted, it can also be used for various daily needs. To maintain its quality, store vinegar in a sealed container, away from direct sunlight and high temperatures. No refrigeration, no special conditions required. And in situations where you have no choices, what helps you last is not what is the strongest, but what is the most versatile. If you could only choose one item to both eat and manage your environment, would you think of white vinegar? 13. Lentils. When you no longer have meat, no refrigeration, and fuel is running low, what will you eat to maintain your strength? Lentils are one of the most practical options in that situation. Unlike many other legumes, lentils do not require soaking and cook relatively quickly. When you need to conserve gas, electricity, or firewood, spending too long cooking becomes a burden. Lentils are different. They take less time, use less fuel, yet still provide a solid meal to help you keep going. Lentils can be stored for a very long time, even decades if kept in a dry, airtight environment. Over time, they may become harder and take longer to cook, but their basic usefulness remains. What makes lentils truly valuable is not just having something to eat. They provide plant-based protein, giving you an alternative when meat or fish is no longer available. They also contain fiber, helping you feel fuller longer and stay more stable when food intake is limited. In addition, lentils have a very practical advantage. They are inexpensive, easy to find, easy to cook, and easy to combine with rice, canned vegetables, or seasonings to create a complete meal for the whole family. To store them long-term, keep lentils in a sealed container, away from moisture and insects. A dry, stable environment is the most important condition. If you had no meat for several days, what would you rely on to maintain your strength besides lentils? 12. Oats. The challenge isn't eating one big meal, it's getting hungry again too quickly. Oats solve exactly that problem. They don't make you feel full right away, but they help you stay full longer. When you can't eat multiple times a day, extending the time between meals becomes more important than eating a large amount at once. Oats can last 5 to 10 years if stored in a dry, airtight environment. That's long enough to include them in a storage plan without needing constant rotation. Their value lies in how the body absorbs them. With a high fiber content, digestion slows down, helping prevent hunger from returning too quickly. When food portions are limited, this creates a clear advantage. You can cook them with water, prepare them quickly, or combine them with powdered milk and dried fruit to make a simple meal. No complicated preparation, but still effective. And when you can't eat whenever you want, what helps you last is not eating more, but lasting longer between meals. If you only had 2 meals a day, would you choose something that keeps you from getting hungry in between? 11. Whole wheat. When there's no more flour on the shelf, what will you do if you still need a meal? Whole wheat is the answer many people overlook. Unlike pre-ground flour, whole wheat kernels retain their natural structure. And that's exactly what allows them to be stored for 20 to 30 years under the right conditions. In a dry, airtight, and stable environment, they experience almost no loss in usability. The difference with wheat is not in immediate use, but in the ability to start from scratch when nothing is left. When there's no flour, no processed food, you can still grind the grain into flour and create your own food. Beyond providing energy, wheat also contains fiber and some protein, enough to sustain a basic diet over time. It's not fast, not convenient, but it offers an advantage that few other foods can match. Using it may require a simple tool like a grinder, but in return, you are no longer dependent on what has already been prepared. To store it long-term, keep wheat in sealed containers, away from moisture, insects, and light. A stable environment is the most important factor, and when you can't buy anything anymore, the advantage doesn't belong to the one who has more. It belongs to the one who can still start from zero. If everything were gone, do you have anything that allows you to create a meal from scratch? 10. Canned meat. When you have no power, no stove, and no time to prepare, what will you eat? That's when ready-to-use matters more than any ingredient. Canned meat is designed for exactly those situations. You don't need to cook, heat, or even add water. Just open the can, and you can eat immediately. When your body is tired or conditions don't allow it, removing the entire preparation process saves a significant amount of energy. This type of food typically lasts 3 to 5 years, sometimes longer if the can remains intact. What matters is not the date printed on the label, but the actual condition. No bulging, no leaks, no corrosion. The greatest strength of canned meat is its ability to provide protein instantly. When fresh food is unavailable and refrigeration is not an option, maintaining a protein source becomes difficult. This is one of the few options that solves that problem without requiring any additional conditions. You can eat it directly, or combine it with rice, noodles, or canned vegetables to create a more complete meal when possible. To maintain quality, store cans in a cool, dry place and avoid strong impacts. And when you can't prepare anything, what keeps you going is not the ingredient, but what was ready in advance. If you had to eat within minutes, do you have something this convenient? 9. Canned fish. You can survive on simple food, but your body won't stay strong for long without this. That's when canned fish becomes important. Unlike many foods that only keep you full, canned fish provides nutrients that help prevent your body from declining. When you rely on carbohydrates for many days, your body can start to feel tired, weak, and less focused. The fats and protein in fish help balance that, keeping your body more stable. Canned fish typically lasts 3 to 5 years, sometimes longer if the packaging remains intact. What matters is checking the can before use. No bulging, no leaks, no signs of damage. What makes canned fish different is its ability to maintain health under limited conditions. It doesn't just provide energy, it also helps your body absorb vitamins more effectively, which is essential when your diet is restricted. You can eat it directly without preparation, or combine it with other foods to create a more balanced meal. No complicated steps, no dependence on external conditions. To store it long-term, keep the cans in a cool, dry place and avoid high temperatures. And when you don't just need to survive, but need to keep your body from deteriorating over time, your choices become different. If you had to eat simply for several days, do you have enough to keep your body from weakening? 8. Powdered milk. When fresh food is gone, but your body still needs nutrition, what will you do? Powdered milk exists for exactly that situation. It's not something you eat immediately. It's something that allows you to create a source of nutrition when there's almost nothing else left. With just water, you can turn it into part of a meal. Quick, simple, and requiring no preparation. In terms of storage, powdered milk can last 10 to 20 years if kept sealed and protected from moisture and heat. Once opened, it must be kept tightly sealed to prevent air from degrading its quality. Its value is not in quantity, but in its ability to keep your body from weakening when your diet becomes repetitive. When you rely on carbohydrates for many days, this is what helps restore balance. You can simply mix it with water or combine it with other foods to increase the nutritional value of a meal. And when all you have left is water, the ability to turn it into nutrition may be what keeps you from collapsing. 7. Instant coffee. There are things you store not to survive, but to keep yourself from mentally breaking down. Instant coffee is one of them. When you're sleep-deprived, mentally exhausted, and still need to make decisions, the issue is no longer hunger. The issue is whether you can stay alert enough to think clearly. And that's when a cup of coffee becomes more important than you might expect. Instant coffee can last from 5 to 20 years if stored properly, sealed and protected from moisture and air. Over time, the flavor may fade, but it remains usable. Its value is not in energy. It lies in keeping your mind from falling apart when your body is already tired. In stressful situations, staying mentally sharp can directly affect the decisions you make. You only need to mix it with hot water to use it. When conditions don't allow, you can still mix it with cold water or use it in a minimal way. To store it long-term, keep it in a sealed container, away from moisture and light. A stable environment helps preserve its quality, and in moments when you begin to lose control, something small that keeps you alert can matter more than food. When you're tired and under stress, do you have anything that helps you stay mentally sharp like this? 6. Seasoning cubes. You can endure hunger, but it's much harder to endure eating the same thing every day. That's when small things like seasoning cubes start to matter. When your food supply is limited, the issue isn't just whether you have enough, it's how long you can keep eating it without getting tired of it. After a few days of bland meals, The fatigue doesn't come only from your body, but also from your mind. And that's what causes many people to lose motivation over time. Seasoning cubes don't provide much energy, but they offer a different advantage. They can completely change the eating experience. With just a small amount, you can turn a monotonous meal into something much easier to eat. Dry or cube seasonings can last for years if stored properly, sealed and protected from moisture. No special conditions are needed, just a dry environment. You can use them very flexibly. Add them to water for flavor, mix them into rice, noodles, or any food you have. No skills, no complicated preparation, but the effect is very noticeable. To store them long-term, keep them in sealed containers, away from moisture and heat. If exposed to humidity, they can clump and lose quality. And when food is still available, but you no longer want to eat, what helps you continue is sometimes not more, but a small change. 5. Cooking oil/GHE. There is a type of food. You don't need much of it, but without it, everything else you eat becomes less effective. That is fat. Cooking oil or ghee is not what makes you feel full immediately, but it is what makes everything else you eat more valuable. When your body lacks fat, your ability to absorb vitamins from other foods decreases significantly. You keep eating, but your body doesn't fully utilize it. Regular cooking oil can typically last about 1 to 2 years, depending on the type and storage conditions. Ghee, on the other hand, can last much longer due to its refined structure. When sealed and kept away from heat, it can maintain quality far longer than you might expect. Its value is not in quantity, but in efficiency. Just a small amount added to rice, porridge, or dry foods can improve nutrient absorption and make meals more satisfying. You don't need complicated preparation. It can be used directly or combined with any food you have. Simple, quick, but with a noticeable impact. To store it long-term, keep oil or ghee in sealed containers, away from light and high temperatures. Air and heat are the two main factors that degrade quality the fastest. And when you think you only need enough food, sometimes what matters more is how much your body can actually use from it. If you already have enough food, are you sure your body is absorbing it effectively? 4. Dried fruit. After a few days of eating the same thing, you're no longer hungry, you're bored. Dried fruit solves exactly that problem. Its first advantage isn't calories, it's the eating experience. When your meals become repetitive, having something with a different taste, a bit of natural sweetness, and a different texture helps you keep eating. It's not just food, it's a way to prevent you from skipping meals out of boredom. The second advantage is micronutrients. When you rely mostly on dry or canned foods, your body can become deficient in vitamins. A small amount of dried fruit can help restore some balance and support your body over time. Dried fruit can last from 1 to 5 years if stored properly, sealed, away from moisture and high temperatures. You can eat it directly or combine it with other foods to vary your meals. And when you no longer feel like eating, sometimes what keeps you going is just a small difference. 3. MRE. There are moments when you don't have time, don't have a stove, and can't afford to wait. MREs are made for exactly those situations. This is not an ingredient. It's a complete meal ready to use. Inside a typical MRE, you'll find everything. A main dish, sides, seasonings, even utensils. You don't need to prepare anything. When conditions don't allow cooking, being able to eat immediately becomes a major advantage. In terms of storage, MREs can last about 5 to 8 years, depending on temperature conditions. The cooler the environment, the longer they last. The value of MRS lies in total convenience. No thinking, no combining, no preparation. Just open it, and you have a complete meal, something very few foods can offer. To maintain quality, store them in a dry place with stable temperatures. High heat will shorten their shelf life. And when you have no options, what keeps you going is not an ingredient, but a meal that's already ready. If you only had a few minutes to eat, do you have something this convenient? 2. Hardtack. There are foods made not to taste good, but to last. Hardtack is one of them. It's an extremely simple type of biscuit, usually made from just flour, water, and salt, baked until completely dry. That simplicity is exactly what allows it to last for years, sometimes even decades, if kept dry and sealed. What makes hardtack unique is its durability. It doesn't spoil easily, doesn't require complex storage, and can withstand harsh conditions. That's why it was historically used by militaries and on long journeys. However, it's not easy to eat. You often need to soak it in water, soup, or coffee to soften it before consuming. But when options are limited, having something that lasts this long becomes more important than taste. To preserve it long-term, store hardtack in airtight containers and keep it completely dry. Moisture is the one factor that can ruin it. And when you no longer care about eating well, but just need something that never spoils, this is when you understand its real value. 1. Peanut butter. When you have nothing, no kitchen, no water, no time, you can still survive on this. Peanut butter is one of the rare foods that meets that. It requires no cooking, no preparation. You can eat it immediately. And with just a small amount, it provides a high number of calories, along with fats and protein, the things that help your body maintain energy quickly. In terms of shelf life, peanut butter typically lasts from 1 to 2 years, sometimes longer if unopened and stored properly. Once opened, it should be sealed tightly to prevent air from reducing its quality. Its biggest strength is not just nutrition, but absolute convenience in the worst situations. When you cannot cook, cannot prepare, have no options, this is something that still works. You can eat it directly or combine it with crackers, bread, or other foods when conditions allow. To keep it well, store it in a cool place, away from light, and seal it tightly after use. And sometimes, what helps you get through is not a complete meal, but something small that is enough to keep you going. If you fall into the worst situation, do you have something that simple but powerful? Not everyone prepares, but those who do, they do not panic. Food is not just something to eat. It is control. It is your ability to stay calm when everything around you starts to lose control. You do not need to stock everything, but you need to start with a few things before you actually need them. The best time to prepare is before it happens, and the second best time is right now. In the next video, stock up on these 12 foods before the storm hits, because when that day comes, you do not want to be the one searching when everything is already gone.